A very good afternoon to you and thanks for joining us on Midday Live. We're coming to you from the News Hub here at Adisawe Kanda in Accra. My name is Nanikia Mensah Brampa. Let's go for the headlines now. And coming up this afternoon, Ghana National Association of Cattle Owners disappointed over the shooting of cattle by the police military operations at Agogo and its environs. Also, New Year School wants regulatory agencies to strictly enforce international standards through local associations for the production of goods and services. And on the foreign front, 70% of South Sudan's children are out of school. Why? So we have the detail of these as well as the latest in the world of sports and entertainment, all coming up in the next hour. Let's settle now for the detail to one developing story. The Fulani Association of Ghana has appealed to the United Nations to see to the protection of its members as provided by the UN Charter. At a news conference in Accra, the association demanded compensation for those whose cattle have been shot and killed in the joint police military operations at Agogo and its environs, and an immediate halt also there to what it describes as unwarranted atrocities meted out to its members. And Daniel Opoku has this report.
The association expressed strong reservations about the military action, alleging that more than 15 of their members have been killed since December last year. It also claimed that over 7,000 of their houses have been burnt down, while 1,500 cattle have been killed. According to the association, an estimated 6 million cedis had been lost through the actions by the joint military police force.
Even animals have got their right. Animals, we have their right. We have laws that respect the animals' survival on our planet. You cannot take the law in your hand and then start airstrike. You can do this thing only in the case of there's open war against Ghana or open rebel against Ghana, but not people on the ground. This is not accepted.
The association requested President Akufo-Addo to step in as it gathers evidence of the brutalities to the United Nations for redress.
So now we are addressing our grievances through constitutional stipulations. If anybody else has similar things to do against our presence or against our stand, why are they hiding to take the law into their hand? Let them come out on the floor to defend their cause.
Already, the Fulanis have been accused of allowing their cattle to stray, destroying farmlands and property. Professor Usman Ubari has dared those whose farmlands have been destroyed, following the activities of the herdsmen to provide evidence.
Those who are saying that their farms have been destroyed and whatnot and this and that, and also they claim that their women have been raped. This is what I'm saying. We have now shown you pictures of the atrocities carried against the Fulanis. I want to cite one instance when such people have taken a killed animal to come against these.
The association says it would petition ECOWAS and other embassies in Ghana.
Well, meanwhile, National Association of Cattle Owners has expressed disappointment over the shooting of cattle by the police military operations at Agogo and its environs. National Chairman of the association, Imam Hanafi Sunday, however, condemned the attack on the police military team in Asante Agogo by Fulani herdsmen.
In a bid to end the menace once and for all, and in response to the attack on the members of the task force, the government has revised its strategy, this time with a focus on driving out the nomadic cattle herders. At a news conference in Accra, National Chairman of the Ghana National Association of Cattle Owners stressed the need to investigate the attack and culprit brought to book.
We endorse that investigations should be carried out properly to apprehend the offenders for them to face the law. However, the Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers is not satisfied with the shoot and kill approach by the security on the cattle within and outside Agogo.
His comment follows a January 8 attack on the police military team in Ashanti Achimagogo by some nomadic herdsmen, injuring 3 military officers. The incident occurred when the military personnel stormed an area where the nomads' cattle were grazing. Reports suggest that the herdsmen ordered the cattle to attack the officers, but Imam Hanafi Sunday debunked that assertion.
Attacking sometimes fall on the circumstance. So when you are coming close to it, it thinks that you are coming to the calf, like the chicken. You know the chicken? When the chicken have small chickens and you are coming close to the chicken, even you are just moving away. What did the hens does? The hen try to approach you. You get me right? That is to defend the chicken, even though you may not be coming there.
Many lives have been lost in the Ashanti, Eastern and Western regions due to Fulani farmer clashes. The Ghana National Association of Cattle Owners wants the task force to reconsider its operational strategy.
It would have been better to rather apprehend the cattle owners, to get the cattle owners to face the law. So therefore, if you have come and then the mandate is to send the people away, the court ruled that the people who have refused to go away after the court ruling, the herdsmen, should be sent away by force. I'm not sure that the court did indicated that the cattle should be shot.
The association also wants government to support the Ghana Cattle Ranting Project Committee set up in November last year to find a lasting solution to the problem.
Well, we also understand that nomadic herdsmen are fleeing Agogo in the Ashanti region are reportedly moving to the Setre Central District of the region. I'll be getting you more information to this particular one. But let's move on. And the Accra Technical University has pushed for the employment of 250 of its graduates. The move, according to management, is to assist in addressing youth unemployment.
Figures from the Ghana Living Standards Survey in 2006 indicate that more than 250,000 graduates join the labor market every year, with many of them not securing employment. Many of those who secure jobs receive meager wages and salaries. Oftentimes, industry has complained about the lack of requisite skills from graduates for the job market. A few weeks ago, more than 100,000 persons applied to be enlisted into the Ghana Immigration Service to fill 500 vacancies. To address this unemployment situation, management of Accra Technical University has pushed Marriott Hotel to employ 250 of their graduates. Acting Vice Chancellor Professor Edmond Ameku said more companies would be approached for jobs this year.
We are going to organize a job fair, certainly. Marriott International will be one of them. Caterpillar will be one of them, and all the firms who took part in the virtual internship program are also going to be part of the exercise. So we want to make sure that when our students complete, they have places to work.
Director of Loss Prevention at the Marriott Hotel, Felix Alonyeku, said the new employees would initially be on probation.
Your delivery, productivity, contribution to the teamwork is going to be measured. So if you are performing up to expectation, you are creating a room for permanency for yourself.
Let's look at one of our headline stories. And the New Year School is asking government through the Ghana Standards Authority and other regulatory agencies to strictly enforce international standards through local associations for the production of goods and services. Now, this, according to the school, will ensure Ghanaian products are competitive both locally and globally. And this is contained in a communique issued by the 69th New Year School in Accra.
The New Year School is under the auspices of the School of Continuing and Distance Education of the University of Ghana. The annual event usually deliberates on issues of national concern, which are often given to government to implement. The theme for this year is job creation for accelerated national development, the role of the private sector. Participants of the New Year school, after 4 days of deliberations, came up with a communique.
As a way of ensuring Ghanaian products are competitive domestically and globally, it is recommended that the government, through the Ghana Standard Authority and other regulatory agencies, strictly enforce international standards through local associations for the production of goods and services. We further recommend that government should intensify the campaign to change the negative mindset of Ghanaians towards local products in order to boost demand for locally produced products and reduce import bills.
The school also recommended government to put in place a policy that will mandate state agencies to purchase made-in-Ghana products.
It should not now be made optional. It should be compulsory that so long as the product is being produced in Ghana, government should use its purchasing power, to purchase those products. That is one way of ensuring and guaranteeing market access for local producers. And once local producers have the market, they are able to expand and employ more people.
Other recommendations stress the need for government to enforce the Land Use and Spatial Act, establish agricultural development fund to be used to develop infrastructure to support cottage industries which will eventually employ the youth in their localities, and the need for the Bank of Ghana to outline a clear policy that will facilitate the reduction of the cost of doing business.
Government should find a way of talking to commercial banks to bridge the gap between the monetary policy rate and the average lending rate. In particular, it should push that the determination of interest rate should be made more transparent, particularly the determination of the base rate. As of now, we don't know what goes in to determine the interest rates for many of the banks, and this we are saying that it should be transparent.
It was also recommended that government expedites action in putting together all its skills training centers, such as the NVTI and ICCES, under the Ministry of Education.
Right, so you're watching Midday Live, and earlier I was telling you reports suggest nomadic herdsmen fleeing Agogo in the Ashanti region are reportedly moving to the central district of the region, and they are moving to areas such as Nsuta, Aserso, Trodo, Nkodua, Aframso, among others. Now, let's engage DSP Charles Etia, who is the Nsuta Police Commander. Good afternoon to you, DSP, and thanks for your time.
Good afternoon, madam.
Now, is it the case that some herdsmen and their cattle have moved to the central district of the Ashanti region?
Yes, please. We had a series of reports from our villages at Ntrodo, Aframso, Nkodua Aframso, Expresso, Asaran Kwanta, and the rest, that the Fulani herdsmen are proceeding to their end. So we visited those places and we realized most of them are moving through our area to Ejura and Ateogo. And we proceeded on them just to let them move out of our area. So however, we've been able to flush some of them out of our district. And we've given ourselves up to next week to do a follow-up to see whether they are still located in our areas.
So you're suggesting that some still remain in these areas you've mentioned, because you flushed some, but some still remain. Now, what are you doing to ensure the safety of residents as well as the herdsmen in these areas that are yet to be flushed out when you visit there in coming days?
Yeah, in fact, I can say this Fulanis, that's the nomadics, they are not residents at our area. So it's our duty as DISEC, we are protecting our poor farmers to enable them have their production going on smoothly. So we are much concentrating on this nomadics, those who have been flushed out of the Agogo area. So we'll see to it that they don't stay here, because if they stay, it will be a difficult task for us to control.
So it means that we don't have any more in the areas you mentioned earlier. Is that what you're saying?
There are few.
There are few. So what is being done to protect both parties, the nomadics as well as the residents?
Yeah, as I said earlier on, the residents are the more important people that we have to concentrate. For the nomadics, they have to move because most of them are coming from Atebubu and the rest. I think that's the reason why they are proceeding towards these areas. So we'll make sure that they don't locate them. I mean, they don't settle here. They must move because we don't have...
And when you're saying they must move, when are they moving from that area?
Yeah, we have given them up to maybe next week. Yeah, next week will be the correct time for us to...
Next week, could you be certain with the timelines? Next week, is it going to be a Monday or a Friday so that we'll get back to you to know what is happening in these areas?
Yeah, from Tuesday going, because DISEC will be meeting on Monday.
Right. Okay, so we'll get back to you to know the latest development. We are grateful for your time, DSP Charles Itua, who is the Nsuta Police Commander, who tells us this afternoon that the nomadics who moved in the areas I mentioned earlier, in Nsuta, Serso, in Chodo, and in Kodria, from so among others, some have been moved out, and still some remain, but measures are being put in place to ensure that residents in that area are kept safe. So we'll be getting you more later when we visit them, maybe next week, to know what is happening in these areas. But let's move away and get into some other parts now. For the first time in over 20 years, the Sekondi Takoradi Metropolis has successfully moved commercial drivers to a Premdo market terminal. Now, the latest efforts to make the market vibrant is a decongestion exercise at the Central Business District and other vicinities in the metropolis. Irama Smith has more.
These were the sentiments of some commercial drivers who had been asked to relocate to their Premdo transport terminal. But weeks later, after being forced to move by the Sekondi Takoradi Metro Assembly, the story has changed.
This place is good for us. We don't struggle for passengers now. The environment is also good. We now operate 24 hours.
24 hours in here, operate 2 hours.
It was, a bit of struggle when I got here. I didn't know the station has been changed, and I think it's cool. I've bought my ticket, but the car is not in yet. It is now coming, so I'm waiting to board the car back to Inchi.
The mayor, Anthony K.K. Sam, says the shops which have now become hotcakes have been reallocated to new traders. These sheds, for instance, will soon be occupied by second-hand clothes and shoes dealers who are currently plying their trade at Ibrufum at the Takoradi Market Circle. The few traders at their Premdo market are now optimistic.
Business is yet to boom because the other traders are not in. We are pleading that they bring the other traders here. Now business is good. We have been here for years, and what is happening now is new to us.
The STMA had grappled with the challenge of making the market work as mayor after mayor over 20 years failed in this feat. Traders preferred selling at unauthorized places, even at their peril, rather than move to the market. City Mayor Anthony K.K. Sam, to deal with the situation on Tuesday, January 16, embarked on a decongestion exercise after 2 weeks of informing the traders of the impending action. He says measures are being put in place to ensure the traders do not move back.
We want to assure the general public that it's not going to be a 9-day wonder. You thought a Premdo was going to be a 9-day wonder. Now you are all witnesses to what is happening. The people are no longer coming. They are happy and comfortable staying there. So I know that my brothers and sisters, my wives and my children who are trading, when they move to their new places or they relocate, they will be very, very happy.
The exercise drew mixed reactions from traders at the Takoradi Market Circle.
We agree with the decongestion because there was chaos here. We will move to Apramodo, but we don't have places to trade there. I don't understand why they are insisting we move our goods inside. The buyers are afraid of coming inside.
Irama Smith, TV3 News. Takrady.
And back here in Accra, traders conducting businesses on pavements and portions of streets have left following a series of decongestion exercises conducted by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Now, the traders are struggling with their wares, claiming they cannot find space in designated selling places to conduct their businesses. Eva Atiboka has been following this one.
Most traders previously selling on these pavements, a major business area, have moved. The red line marks the boundary for the display of wares. During a tour of some business centers in Accra Central, Circle and Kanishi, it was established that a few traders had defaulted, selling over the line and on pavements. The AMA embarked on a major exercise to clear the traders off unauthorized selling areas. The Accra Mayor Nia J. Soa wants the traders to conduct trading activities at designated places which he claimed were lying idle.
There are empty, sheds, there are empty markets that we are asking them to go back.
Some traders countered this claim.
We are on the pavement because we don't have space to sell.
Those who currently own the shops are not traders.
The AMA went on tour after several exercises conducted to clear the streets.
We don't have anywhere to go.
I cannot afford 5,000 cedis for a shop. How then do I feed my family?
The Accra Regional Minister Ishmael Ashite was impressed with the outcome.
So you have to be a little bit careful that we should show a human face to it. And therefore, when we started with center of Accra. We are hoping to move to Adenta and then Medina very soon. As soon as we finish, we'll be moving into Tema. And then I think they have done a lot of work already on their own. So we'll be looking at the districts one by one as we continue with the exercise.
Why, so the decongestion exercises are still ongoing. What do you make of these exercises? One in the Western region and one also in the Greater Accra region. You can stay interactive. It's TV3 Ghana on Facebook and Twitter. This is Midday Live. Let's move on to some more this afternoon and work on the Peshi Bridge on La Teshi Beach Road in Accra is yet to be completed 2.5 years after construction or reconstruction began. Frederick Clarence Williams reports motorists are currently using a temporary Bailey Bridge as construction work has stalled.
The Peshi Bridge is the main link between Accra and Tema on the Eastern Corridor. The road remains the only alternative route between Accra and Tema after the motorway. It faces imminent collapse if immediate action is not taken to repair the bridge. From afar, the bridge appears strong, but a closer look reveals its structural defect. The Peshi Bridge was closed to traffic in October 2014 for major rehabilitation work. The bridge, which was renovated many years ago, had become weak with visible cracks. 2 weeks after TV3's report in October 2014, maintenance works on the bridge started and was expected to be completed in February 2015. 3.5 years on, the project has still not been completed. Even though some work has been done on one lane of the bridge, the project has been abandoned. The left lane of the bridge has deteriorated further. Cracks on strategic support positions are also eating deeper. Structural cracks have become visible here as well, a clear warning that peeling is not far off. Motorists are currently using a temporary Bailey Bridge, but this has also developed cracks, making it difficult for motorists to use. If immediate steps are not taken to complete the bridge, motorists could face imminent danger.
An 11-year-old suffering from multiple disability is seeking public support to survive. Selom Aveji's father died when he was 3 months, and the whereabouts of his mother cannot be traced. Eva Tibuka has the rest of the story.
Suffering from multiple disabilities, each passing day comes with struggles. Conditions under which Selom lives, it's an eyesore, although he has a room and a mattress to himself. A birthplace made of zinc slabs, but those are not his concerns. His most pressing challenge is access to food. The news team could only aid him with diapers and lunch. He lost the father 3 months after birth and developed the multiple disabilities months after. His mother is also missing. Selom is putting up with his step-matrilineal grand-auntie, who claims Selom's patrilineal family rejected him because of his condition.
I sent Selom to her patrilineal auntie's house, but she says she does not want Selom in her house, and if I leave him behind, she will bring him back to me.
Victoria Aveji again claimed Selom has also lost the only property his late father left behind.
Selom, get up. Get up.
At age 11, Selom needs special attention, but financial constraints is preventing him from accessing health care. He would have found solace in Act 715 of the Disability Law, which guarantees persons with disabilities free access to specialist medical care, but that is far from reach. Victoria, the breadwinner of the family, has to sell second-hand clothing to enable her cater for the family, leaving Selom home alone. Selom is appealing to the general public for support. Donations could be brought to TV3 at Adisawe, Kanda.
And remember, no donation is too small. Let's help support Selom Aveji there. You're watching Midday Live. We're taking a breather. When we return, there's more. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the erratic rainfall pattern in 2017 has compelled residents in most communities of northern Ghana to trek several hours in search of water. Eva Atibuka reports barely a month into the dry season, most water sources saving the people drinking water is gradually drying up.
The problem is a perennial one at most parts of northern region are faced with low water tables. Annually, residents struggle to access water from January to June. Dams, rivers and dugouts collecting rainwater are mainly water sources serving most communities. Sometimes, one of life's prized commodities is shared with animals.
There are times we come and animals are taking over, so one has to wait for the animals to finish drinking. Then it settles for us to fetch.
Residents say they are in their trying time. The rainy season is expected to begin in May or June, but in January already, most rivers and dugouts are drying up, compelling residents to scoop water from dry riverbeds like this one.
Currently, if you go there, the whole place is dried. And women have to travel from here to Kulpini River Dakar before they can even fetch water. The distance from here to River Dakar is about 8 kilometers.
Residents complained of inadequate water in dams and dugouts due to the erratic rainfall pattern in 2017. Lives and businesses have been affected.
We only get water during the rainy season, so for now we go to riversides to dig and wait before we can get water.
while school children are bearing the brunt of the situation.
School resumes and we don't have water. Many of them cannot come from the interland and come and stay here to attend school. And secondly, the teachers too, even if they come, where do they get water to bath?
If you see the way children and women, including men, old women, how they are suffering because of water, it is never easy in town here. The little water that we men can get, they will use that small water to cook for us to eat. We'll be lying down without bathing. We will not bath ourselves.
Mion district is said to be the worst hit by the water crisis. Inhabitants hope government's One District, One Dam initiative will help solve the water crisis. District Chief Executive of Myong, Mohammed Hassim Abdullahi, and Assembly members are giving priority to the provisioning of portable drinking water.
Every village throughout the country should have good and portable drinking water. And in this district, our main problem is good drinking water. So we are making it as our priority to spend part of our 30% in that area.
The inhabitants believe strategic positioning of the dams will collect water from upstream Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso to solve the annual flooding and acute water crisis.
In a related development, rural communities facing water crisis will be supplied clean water by the end of this year. Water for Rural Africa project is constructing boreholes across rural communities in Ghana and Africa. Polluted water sources will also be turned into fresh underwater project.
Sustainable Development Goal 6 targets universal access to safe and affordable drinking water for all by 2030. However, dwindling water supplies owing to increasing drought, desertification and depletion of water bodies threatens the goal. Currently, 40% of people across the globe are hit by water scarcity. That's according to the United Nations. In Somalia alone, 615,000 people are displaced by the drought.
We still find people so badly impoverished that they still cannot drink clean water. I think it's a serious indictment on us. Togo next door has been asking for water for years. There's no reason why we cannot be providing, clean water to the people in Togo. And yet so much of it is entering the sea.
Ghana, with most water bodies polluted, access to clean water is a challenge. Dams, dugouts and rivers serve most rural dwellers, but majority of these are drying up. The Rural Water for Africa is stepping in with the construction of boreholes in rural communities across the country.
What is our corporate policy when it comes to addressing water and sanitation? When it comes to government institutions, how critical do we look at this? Do we need to see children dying before we hold conferences to address it as a critical issue? What is the level of investment that African governments are doing in addressing this very critical issue?
Launching the Water for Africa project, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Peter Amewu, says Ghana could plunge into water crisis if measures are not taken to protect its water bodies.
If the extent of destructions of our forests, the approach to climate change issues, and our resistance to conduct environmental sustainable practices continue, then 2030, we may, as a country, Ghana, be importing water.
Stakeholders emphasized the need to conserve water sources and the ecology in general. Under the project, 20 boreholes have already been constructed in the Volta region and 1,000 more scheduled to be constructed by the end of 2018.
Now, former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Professional Studies, Joshua Alabi, says Martin Amidu is the perfect person for the position of the Special Prosecutor. He said the former Attorney General's firmness is enough for that office and debunked claims that he will witch hunt members of the NDC.
For now, he's the best for us. Very principled guy. He knows his job. And I think that a lot of thinking went into it before he was appointed. I will personally wish him well, and I pray that the good Lord will protect him and guide him to deliver. Amadou is somebody who I know nobody can push around, okay? So it's not coming just for the way people are thinking that he's come to chase people who are one or two problems with him. No, I don't see Martin that way.
The NDC stalwart does not believe Martin Amadou will witch hunt anyone.
I don't see Martin Amadou coming to witch hunt. I see him as a thinker person, very fine brain, who believes in what he does, and is just simply come to do what is required of him.
Martin Amadou was named as a special prosecutor by the president, with his nomination pending approval or otherwise by Parliament. On the seat for cash, which is being probed by Parliament, the former Vice-Chancellor asked Ghanaians to be patient as Parliament does its work.
Very often, we tend to use the media to criminalize people when they've done nothing wrong. And sometimes we tend to protect people who have even done something wrong. But this is an opinion, a forum, a platform for the air to be cleared. And I think that Parliament has the capacity to come out with what I think will be in the interest of the good people of this country.
On to some security now, and the Central Regional Police Command is to review its security strategies at Kaswa to ensure the crime rate is reduced. Now, the Regional Commander, DCOP Reverend David Nyenin Ampabenin, says the crime wave in Kaswa must not be allowed this year.
Is gaining notoriety for criminal activities. The police say, but for Kaswa, the central region would have been relatively calm. The regional police commander, COP David Ampa Benin, assured residents the police will not relent on its efforts to reduce the region's crime rate.
We are increasing the number of vehicles, the patrol vehicles. We are also increasing their strength. Just recently, I've sent another 15 people, personnel, duty personnel, to go and augment the strength of Kaswa. We are making up the numbers. If we get the adequate numbers, the criminals will be no match for us at all.
On illegal mining in some parts of the region, COP Ampa Benin revealed an Operation Vanguard task force would be inaugurated to complement national efforts aimed at ending the menace.
About 30 of our personnel, they have been trained by Operation Vanguard at Achiase in the eastern region. So we get the go ahead, we just move, because my people are ready.
You're watching Midday Live, and when we return, we have sports with Yao Fosulabi. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us. Let's look at some international news now. And UNICEF's Executive Director, Henrietta Fore, has said 70% of South Sudan's children are out of school, and the young country risks losing a generation that would make it harder to rebuild after conflict ended. South Sudan, which split off from its northern neighbor Sudan in 2011, has been gripped by a 4-year civil war sparked by political rivalry between incumbent leader Salva Kiir and his former deputy Riek Machar. Now, an estimated tens of thousands have died in the conflict, which has also displaced a quarter of the country's population of 12 million. Now let's move on to some other international news. And a partial shutdown of the U.S. government commenced early Saturday after a funding bill was blocked in the Senate's spending authority expired at midnight Washington time, triggering a halt of non-essential functions. Now, a handful of Republicans joined all but a handful of Democrats in opposing the funding bill, which needed 60 votes to advance in the 100-member chamber. The Senate later adjourned until noon Washington time Saturday Saturday, when senators are expected to continue efforts to pass a bill funding the government. The outcome of the funding bill set off furious discussions among senators on and off the chamber floor, seeking a last gasp bipartisan deal to restart the flow of federal funding. And away from international news, just in, Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Professor Michael Quay is expected to be sworn in as President. President Nana Akufo-Addo is expected to leave the country for Liberia Sunday, while the Vice President is already in the UK undergoing further medical treatment. Parliament has been recalled to fill the political vacuum, with the Speaker of Parliament, who is the third in line of the four most powerful political leaders constitutionally mandated to act in the absence of the first two, and in exercise of the power conferred on the Speaker by Order 42.3 of the Standing Orders of Parliament of Ghana. Honourable Joseph Owusu-Sian, First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, pursuant to Order 13.2, do hereby summon Parliament to sit on Sunday, 21st January 2018 at 2:30 in the afternoon at Parliament House, Accra, for the swearing-in of Right Honourable Speaker as Acting President of the Republic in accordance with Articles 60, 11 and 12 of the 1992 Constitution. Now, date of the office of the Speaker of Parliament in Accra, it's this Friday, 19 January 2018. This is from the Honourable Joseph Osei Owusu, there with a recall of Parliament statement. And that's how we wrap up for Midday Live this afternoon. You can still stay with us on our website, historynews.com, for more news updates. My name is Nanekia Mensah Brampa. Do enjoy your weekend and have a good afternoon.